Good afternoon. I'm gonna make myself a quick drink. I'm gonna try and tackle today a bit of an issue I've had since I bought the Maverick. Causes a bit of anxiety actually. Now, the other day we went out and got our video to Wilbinga, which is currently in editing. And the whole drive, there's one problem I've had. I can't even open my door, hang on. This problem I've had with the Maverick. Oh, that's bright, I should have brought my sunnies. Has been bugging me and I can't get to the bottom of it. That would be that this is where my fuel gauge lives all the time. So, I have already diagnosed part of it, hopefully. So I'm gonna get this in the shed and pull the dash out. That's where I'm at. Because that causes me so much anxiety when we're out on the tracks, and whether I'm going to make it home, or whether I need to stop for fuel, or whether we're even going to make it to the end of our track. A lot of crossing fingers when we're out. But let's get her in the shed and get this dash apart and see if I can find any breaks in the line. But I'll explain a bit more. All right, let's get to pulling that dash out. All right, now, time to get it apart. Now, as I said before, this has been a bit of an ongoing issue since I bought the car. Previous owner told me he didn't really look at it. The guy before that had apparently sent it in to get an auto sparky to look at it. At the dash apart, the cluster, all sorts of things. I don't really know. So, time for us to work it out. Now, in saying that, I have had the dash part. I've continuity tested everything up to the seat for the harness. Everything's all in line there. I've just run another continuity test to see where the amperage, the resistance is sitting. It is slightly higher than it was the other day I tested it, but I have used fuel, so it should be higher. Again, I don't know how much fuel I got, so I don't know what the resistance should be based on GQ readings. But it's high. So it should change that, but it hasn't. The continuity from the plug to the dash seemed a bit off. So I had 0.14 or 1.4. And now I've got 1.9 from the sender, which is a brand new sender, which was hard to find. Really hard to find them for these. That didn't fix the issue. So here we are. Put our dash screws in here. Now, again, huge anxiety from this. Never know when you're going to run out. Never know what you got. Still doesn't take away from the fun we have on the tracks, but it's something that needs to be fixed because we got some bigger trips planned. And as I'm sure some people could appreciate, knowing how much fuel you're using comes in handy when planning some long trips. Some of the places we're planning isn't exactly the sort of places you want to run out of fuel, but that's why we're trying to fix it. So we'll probably go to a bit of a time lapse of me pulling this apart because it should be a bit of a process. But we'll come back to you when it is apart. One dash cluster out. Right, two up there, and I bet you some more underneath. The old footwell, here we come. It's like working out whether I need to take it all the way out or not, or just lean it forward. Hopefully I can just lean it forward. See what's happening. Go to your side. Here I am. Hey. Almost there. Check that side, find out what's holding her up. What do we got? All right. Now, hopefully, I should be able to see, without taking this completely out, what's going on with this wiring harness through the back of the dash here. See if I can get some footage of it. But from this plug to there, while plugged into the dash cluster, was reading 0.84, whereas it was 0.14 from the sender. So strange though, because the low resistance should read fuller than the higher resistance. But when it's not plugged in, it's still reading the 84, but then from here, there is no resistance. Like, I can't even get a reading of continuity or resistance. So I don't know if from there to there, it's getting a resistance reading, and then from there to here, it's getting nothing, which means the fuel gauge isn't getting any resistance, which would read full, or over full actually, which is what it's doing. So fingers crossed. But let's have a look and see if we can see what's going on. All right, getting somewhere. Should be the last couple of clips. Just under here. That's definitely workable. The harness runs behind that aircon and up under there, so I'm hoping I can find a break or something, because that'd make life easy. But if there's not, then we have other problems. But we'll see. So, as you can see, I have decided to take the steering wheel off and the dash out. Because there wasn't really enough room for me to see what I needed to see. But here we are. My problem plug. Now to get to diagnosis and find out what is going on. The aircon might need to come out. Let's keep going. Don't know what that was. But let's put that out of the way. And let's have a gaze at what we've got going on through this harness. So this is the harness I got a problem with. But I don't know where the problem actually is. But leave it with me. I'll see what I can find. And hopefully come back to you with some good news. Okay, so I've done some investigating, and my investigations have led to a can of worms, maybe a can of spaghetti. I don't know. You tell me. Because I ended up finding that this wire, which goes to my blower motor, has melted. Now, it was taped here and all the way along, and obviously I'm investigating. I want to know what's going on with my wiring. I untaped all of that down to this little corner, and also all the way across to that corner, just to find that goes down to this plug for my blower motor. Now, which one is it? That one there. Goes down into there. All the way up through. Now, it's stuck to everything it could possibly along the way as it's melted. So, I'm going to have a quick gaze, I suppose, through all of the cables again, see if it has melted through any of the others and if there's a bad ground somewhere. But that's where I'm at. See if it's damaged anything else. I'm hoping, I mean, worst case is already, there's melted wires. But I'm hoping this is what's actually affected my fuel gauge, because then I've found the problem and I can fix it. But if this hasn't caused my fuel gauge issue, then I just had another issue, which I'm glad I found before it decided it wanted to maybe go up in flames, burn my entire harness, have more problems. But that will be getting disconnected and rerun very shortly. Before I put all this back together, I'll just run another wire parallel to everything and tape it to it. Find out why it actually got hot in the first place first, but that's a later issue. For now, I'll finish sorting out why my fuel gauge doesn't work, because that bugs me more than not being able to have my fan on, because I just roll the window down. Anyway, let me have a bit more of a look and get back to you, hopefully with an outcome. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, can of worms or can of spaghetti? Looks more like spaghetti. All right, after I have traced everything, that wire that had melted melted all the way along, and I haven't actually gone all the way down the driver's side yet. Because while I was unsticking it all and pulling it all apart and properly checking all the other wires that it had made contact with, I found my black with pink dot traced wire coming from the driver's side up and in to my plug. Now, I thought it came from that side, but apparently it comes in from up here. Now, this is it here. This leads to the plug, which I've already put into the cluster. I've made sure everything was out of the way, and unplugged my battery back in because my fuel gauge now reads half. I feel like a bit of an idiot because Ant did tell me to check all my earths, and I did check them. I did check that lead that came down because it comes out of the harness down in the kick panel. When I pulled on it on the other end, before I'd untaped anything, before I played around with anything, there was tension on it. And now that I've untaped it all, and when I started playing with it, I've pulled on it and it's come out of everywhere that's taped up with a completely clean break on the end of it. So, comes down behind there and then down. Now, originally it did go down the back here and down in here. Let me get a torch, light up the situation. It was down there, down behind all those plugs and in behind the fuse box panel. And that's where it had tension. But as you can see now, I have pulled it through and connected it to this ground wire, which is also black with pink dot trace, that has been soldered previously, which had come apart, and I've now just twitched it on. Test my fuel gauge, and it works. The dash out didn't need to happen for my fuel gauge. This whole process didn't need to happen for my fuel gauge. But I am slightly happy because I already had a small fire in the engine bay when this car and earths, I swear, my engine mount earths failed somehow. So both of the ones from the block to the chassis and then the one from a block to my battery earth went. My alternator earth caught fire and melted a bit of my harness over there. That's all sorted. I've also run a new larger power cable. Now, if this, because my blower still works, it still turns on. If this decided to continue melting, continue getting hot, I could have had more issues than just my fuel gauge, which wasn't even caused by that, but a blessing in disguise, I guess. But I'm going to leave it at this for now. I'm going to go have some dinner. I'm going to maybe go have a small cry on my wife's shoulder after all this. But I will be back on a decision on what's happening. This could turn into a 2-part series because it is getting, well, it is already dark outside. So yeah, we'll see. Otherwise, Ant is coming up tomorrow because we have some more editing to do for the trip we did, which hopefully you guys tune in for as well. But yeah, I'll get back to you on what's happening. All right, had some dinner, did some deliberating, and it has been decided that that mess is going to wait for tomorrow. No more tonight. Definitely had enough of tonight. Well, it is what it is. As again, blessing in disguise that I found that blower motor wire. That's going to get chopped out, and I will put everything back together. Make sure that is completely neutralized. For now, get some appropriate gauge wire and run a new one for that. Until then, I got to get this back together because we got another trip planned. Not long. And I don't have a lot of time to put this back together for that trip. So, luckily, Ant's coming up. But we also have editing to do and something else that we're working on to get filmed and started tomorrow. So hopefully this doesn't take too long. But tune in. Don't forget, hit that subscribe and make sure you're aware of when we upload our videos and pull apart our cars. I know Ant's got some stuff planned for his, which will probably end up on another playlist. Look out below. Anyway, again, gonna leave this. I'm gonna pack this shed up and turn all these lights off and go hang out with the family because this has taken too much time today. But remember, guys, fuel gauge works now, so my anxiety can drop when we're out on the tracks, and I can just enjoy the tracks even more. But yeah, anyway, again, don't forget, hit subscribe. Make sure you're notified when we upload because we got some big plans for you. Easy. See ya.